Hello, I'm Richard Gisbert, and you're watching a special edition of The Listening Post. We're focusing on Barack Obama, the news media, and 2009.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
We'll take a look back at the year of the most overexposed president in history.
I love you back.
And we'll delve through all of the media mudslinging to see how Obama fared in the media over the past 12 months.
Obama as a kid on the schoolyard that can be pushed around because he's too sweet.
When George Washington was inaugurated as the first president of the United States in 1789, he was watched by a small crowd of people assembled to witness the ceremony. When Barack Obama took the oath as the 44th president on the 20th of January 2009, the entire world was watching. President Obama is the first new president of the 21st century. Some have even called him the first post-racial president. And his first year on the job took him to the heart of some of the world's biggest news stories: the collapsing American and global financial markets, his reaching out to the Islamic world, healthcare reform, throw in Afghanistan and that Nobel Peace Prize, and it's been a busy year. This week, The Listening Post is devoting our entire broadcast to the story of the new president and how the media from inside and outside the U.S. dealt with this constantly developing story. We start with the inauguration and the first 100 days. We've reported some of these numbers before, but they are worth repeating.
Well, now, Barack Obama has become
In the first 24 hours of Barack Obama's presidency on Inauguration Day, the global radio and television coverage combined added up to more than 20 million minutes.
An incredible atmosphere here.
At their peak, the world's electronic media were reporting the event 33 times per second. In the first 2 days of print coverage, newspapers around the world churned out more than 1 million articles on the new American president. It was a big story. In terms of media output, the biggest ever.
I think they were feeding a demand, and I think part of that is because the historic nature of the presidency, of the election of Barack Obama taking the oath of office, is so palpable and such a massive shift that everyone kind of wants to have a piece of it.
Kenyans from all over the country have come here to watch the swearing in of President Obama.
I think the news networks are all kind of responding to that demand.
Fox News, pro-Republican, anti-Obama, and the most watched U.S. 24-hour news channel also made some mischief when the Supreme Court justice administering the oath to the new president messed up the words.
I'm not sure that Barack Obama really is the President of the United States because the oath of office is set in the Constitution.
Fox News was operating in opposition for a change. But in the early days of the Obama presidency, the dominant tone of most media coverage was positive.
Of eloquence, of youth, of clear smartness.
One of the dynamics of the press that's so disheartening and frustrating is that they kind of tend to suck up to power and sort of embrace people when they're up and trash them when they're down. And that's sort of regardless of the actual substantive accomplishments or failures of the given politician.
Barack Obama promised change and was quick to make his mark. One of his first presidential signatures was used to order the closure of the prison at Guantanamo Bay.
Talking directly to the Muslim world.
Then, in his first official interview, Obama ignored the major American media outlets and went on the Saudi-owned, Dubai-based Arabic-language channel Al Arabiya instead. In terms of dealing with the media, the new president was doing things his way.
The symbolism of the Arabiya interview by President Obama was a combination of the timing. It was right after the inauguration. It was the medium that he chose, a major pan-Arab satellite station in Arabic, and it was the message reaching out to the Islamic world.
My job is to communicate the fact that the United States has a stake in the well-being of the Muslim world.
All of these things together were really profoundly important, but in symbolic terms, because there had not yet been a change in policy. But I think rhetoric is the first step towards policy.
In March, the Obama roadshow went overseas. First, it was the G20 summit in London to discuss the global economic crisis, followed in the Czech Republic with a call for nuclear disarmament, and culminating with a landmark speech to the Muslim world delivered to the Turkish parliament in Ankara.
So let me say this as clearly as I can. The United States is not and will never be at war with Islam.
the global media could not help but conclude that change had come to the White House.
If you said to me, you know, that first trip abroad, what was the most important part of it?
President Obama today reached out to the world's Muslims, speaking to the Turkish parliament.
I genuinely think that probably the most important part of it was the visit to Turkey.
President Obama coming to a secular country aspiring to join the European Union, but with a Muslim majority population, was seen as a very positive move in the Arab media and among the Arab and Muslim public to engage with the Muslim world. The Arab media, and in particular, for example, Al Jazeera and Al Arabiya, picked up the key message from Obama: the United States is not at war, nor will it be at war with Islam. And that was treated very favorably in the Arab media. It was repeated again and again, and it was contrasted with the messages of former President Bush.
بعيداً عن مواضيع الإرهاب والعلاقة التي كانت سائدة في عهد الرئيس جورج دبليو بوش.
But even before President Obama made that declaration to Muslims, he delivered a personal message to the Iranian people as they celebrated the arrival of their new year. He sent it via YouTube. New president, new medium, new message.
This holiday is both an ancient ritual and a moment of renewal.
It was the first time that a US president addressed Iranian leaders and called the Iranian government the Islamic Republic. President Obama congratulated Iranians in their own language.
We seek the promise of a new beginning. Thank you, and Eid-e-Shoma Mubarak.
However, this president found that the grand gestures, well received abroad, landed him on the firing line at home with the right-wing media, who called one of his trips Obama's apology tour.
I think Barack Obama has come off as a kid on the schoolyard that can be pushed around.
Again, it was the pro-Republican Fox News channel that led the charge, not just on Obama's foreign policy, but also on his tax policy. In fact, Fox was central to the organization of the Tea Party protests, tax revolts that took place in many American cities in April.
Fox News took the somewhat remarkable step of not just covering these as events, but actually promoting them. They sent their anchors out across the country. All of them throughout the day were doing live shots from various locations. And it was clear they weren't covering the protests, they were part of the protest.
America is sick and tired of being sick and tired of lies and corruption and flushing our country down the toilet.
There is going to be an audience and people who simply do not like this president for a variety of reasons. And Fox is there to tap into those feelings and to stoke them.
The most radical left-wing administration in a generation.
Fox does stoke those feelings and rides them to ever higher ratings. The network remains the highest-rated news channel in America.
President Obama acted to change U.S. policy.
Even Barack Obama's America. We're back after the break with Obama versus the media, Part 2, a battle for the hearts and minds of Americans.